Welcome back to the 888 Poker Weber Cup. So we're back to Osku now for Team Europe. Everybody is bowled. USA have that double, but a few more mistakes means that it is a slight advantage to Team Europe. And that is a good strike, and that is ominous, I would say, for Team USA, who will have to face Osku twice in the singles.
Well, the thing is, Simon, if Osku can get lined up here, the lane condition may not change that much between the next couple of games. And if Osku's on song, then everybody should look out.
His opposing number, Chris Barnes, done a very good job of leadership. Was unable to pick himself for the singles matches due to the fact that he ended up as the captain's pick at the end of session one. That was a very deliberate tactic from Osku. It didn't pay off in terms of the point, but it certainly took Chris out of session two to a certain extent. 3 points apiece in session two meant that Europe stayed in touch. And Barnes looking back to his best.
And of course, Simon, yes, there is a strict rotation that the players have to go on. You cannot pick one player to play 3 or 4 singles matches in a go. They have to rotate in a specific order, and that goes for both teams.
Now, Koivuniemi, one of the players that Cass Edwards says has got a big game in him. And from Team Europe's point of view, they'll be hoping that he comes up with that during the singles. But he has been a little unsettled on this lane. We know for a fact that he's not really getting on with the pins. They're new pins. They're tough to knock over. And he's got so much finesse about his game, Cass, that he does rely on that reaction within the pin deck to get all 10 down.
Yes, unfortunately, he was just a little bit light on the pocket. This one leaves the 7-pin, which is unusual for the right-hander. And you see he lofts the ball down the lane just to get a bit of extra distance before it breaks up. Not over happy with that one, I'm afraid. But he is the American Professional Player of the Year 2011 and is currently ranked #1 in the world on the World Bowling Tour.
Yes, won the Tournament of Champions in the USA in that year and picked up a very cool $250,000 US. He's amassed a fortune over in the States, bowling on the PBA Tour in relative terms, and it's allowed him to move full-time to Michigan and bring up his family there. And the two men sitting to his right and the one man sitting to his left, two to the right, are also over in the USA now, trying to make a go of things. He's a man that has made a go of things over the years on the PBA Tour, Tommy Jones. And he always makes a go of things on this lane. But that was too wide, and he knew it.
Didn't get the reaction on the outside of the lane, did he? There's lots of rotation on it, but it's just gone. He's got the 2-pin and the 8-pin sleeper here. So it's going to take quite an accurate shot to spare this one. He was working on a double, which he didn't make.
There'll just be something in Tommy Jones' line of sight, but amazing how players do notice these things during the course of a delivery.
There's 600 spectators here, and he can see probably 500 of them. And so, yeah, there's going to be some movement. Something's going to happen. And, yeah, you catch it in your eyesight, and, well, you either ignore it and go or stop and regroup.
That's how things stand as we go past the halfway mark in this Baker game.
Yeah, just 4 points difference. As Dom Barrett steps up, strike on his first frame, in frame number 3. Well, you may have heard him shout, "Get there," giving it some encouragement as it went down the lane, but it got to the pocket and carried all 10 nicely, so it's 2 strikes in a row for him.
Yeah, not a conventional carry on these pins, but it was good enough.
Just a little wide, comes in a bit light. Well, it's pretty much hit them thin, make them spin, and the 4-pin is the last one to go, but he doesn't care, and nor does a happy looking Stu Williams.
Bill O'Neill once again under pressure and leaves that 10. Again, just that slight turn on it, very similar to the Koivuniemi shot earlier in this Baker game.
Yeah, we've mentioned these pins, they're reasonably new, and when they are like that, they take a lot of knocking over. They weigh £3, 8 ounces each, and you've only got to be a fraction off and they'll stand up.
Removes the 10. Sporting applause from the crowd here in Barnsley, and you mentioned the crowd, Cass. It really is a terrific crowd. I mean, it's packed to the rafters tonight. And there's an element of build it and they will come about the Weber Cup over the years. You know, a single lane constructed in a centre, and just wait and see if people will come and watch, and they've come out in their droves yet again.
The 8th year here at Barnsley Metrodome, and as you say, yes, they have come out. This is a big ball for Team Europe and Stu Williams. It's a chance to make the double, to extend the lead for Team Europe.
Go on.
That's the one. What a great looking shot, and they all knew that it was a very important ball, so it's high fives all round.
Now USA's task has just got a lot tougher.
Lays this shot right out on the lane very nicely. It's in a perfect position when it gets to the break point, and the rotation brings it right up into the pocket for the right-hander, and carries all 10 pins. Shoot those down, Stu Williams.
King of swing, Mike Fagan, next to the line for Team USA.
Yeah, only a spare on his first frame, but strikes in his second, and that's a lot better for him. Give him a bit of confidence, and keeps the Team USA just about in touch.
Team Europe, oh, sorry, Cass, Team Europe working that double. It's back to Osku in the foundation frame.
Yeah, sorry, Simon, I was just going to say both teams working a strike, but Europe are working on 2 in a row, so a very important ball for European captain Osku. This could be setting up the victory if he can rip the rack on this one and carry all 10.
And that troublesome 4-pin that we've seen left quite a few times by Team Europe remains standing.
Yeah, it tends to stand up when the ball hits the hairpin just a fraction high. Not perfect in the pocket, and so it can only be a spare. Could still be good enough for Team Europe, depending off Team USA can double up in their foundation frame.
And Osku Palermaa, for once, seems to get that temperament of his under control for the spare. We've seen some wild and woolly stuff from him on the spare balls during the course of this Weber Cup. And he's thrown and missed at a couple of single pins. That leaves Chris Barnes and Team USA back in the driving seat, but it's marginal.
Well, this is certainly a big ball for the Americans. They know it's got to be a double, and there's probably nobody better than Chris Barnes, save maybe Tommy Jones, to bury one in there.
Well, he jumped away from that one because as it came into the pocket, he wasn't sure.
I don't think we were particularly sure, but they all went, and it is the double, frames 8 and 9, so this sets up a grand finish between these two sides. Straighter shot down the lane, not so much width, but it still comes in reasonably light, but gets the mix, and all those pins go flying. Body reaction, he knows how good and important that was.
Well, this is big for Team Europe once again. It's Mika Koivuniemi in the 10th frame. He shouts get up to it as well, because it just wasn't going to arrive at the pocket, and leaves another 10.
Yes, and their maximum score drops to 208. If he can spare and then get a strike on the fill ball in the 10th frame.
If Team USA can take this, that'll be their biggest lead so far in Weber Cup 13. And from Europe's point of view, they haven't led at all in this year's competition. It's been catch-up all the way. So 10 pins successfully removed. And Koivuniemi looking a little frustrated as well. He's got to find a strike with this last ball to set the mark at 208.
Yeah, certainly needs as many pins as possible, and as you say, a strike will give them 208, which will force Team USA to get at least one strike on the first ball of the 10th.
Very good from Mika, but I'm afraid the damage has already been done. And now it's the talisman for Team USA to step up and try and get the job done.
Well, when you want to strike, this is the man to get it. It's the 10th frame, first ball, and he needs 10.
Well, I calculate he's thrown 2 bad balls so far at Weber Cup 13, and even those bad balls were good.
I think you're probably right, yeah. A couple of 9 spares.
Shocking, isn't it? Now then, the man that has practically made this Barnsley lane his own to try and do the job for Team USA. Tommy Jones gets it away, and that one was struggling to make the pocket all the way. Wow.
It's all over, bar the shouting, because they can only make 202, and Europe have already got 208. So the game is over. And Tommy Jones, when we asked you to stand up and get 10, you only took 7. So not the greatest shot in the world. And unfortunately, Team USA are going to lose this one. So it's going to be another point for Team Europe.
Talked him out of it, and just shows you how important that last strike by Koivuniemi was. And an open frame and a big gasp from the crowd as the US score drops even further. And the Barnsley crowd have something to cheer about here in the Metrodome. In game 13, the first game of this evening session. A good enough score in the end from Team Europe, and they hobble across the line, 208 to 190, to claim another valuable point. Well, you've got to read it to believe it. I think we're all in shock still. Tommy Jones misses one at the end of that Baker game to hand Team Europe the point. And Team Europe still very much in this one. USA, though, still lead by 7 to 6. Right then, Tony Wrighton is down next to the show lane with Dom Barrett.
Thanks very much. Well done, Dom. Really important point that, wasn't it?
It was. You know, we haven't been more than 2 behind the whole time, and every time we have been, we bowled good enough to get it back to just 1. And, you know, with Tommy stepping up, you expect him to finish the game and, you know, punish you for letting him have the chance. But, you know, the pattern's changed again, and we have a different condition. This is the first game on it, and, you know, it could go to anyone's way. So hopefully it's going to be good for us.
Dom, thanks very much indeed. Well done to you. Well done to Team Europe, who have a point back. It really is shaping up to be a thrilling Weber Cup. And the first of our singles battles is next.